Hey farm family, thanks for jumping on and watching. I actually want to tell you a little bit about some of our horses because every horse has a story, and this horse right behind me has helped me realize that. Well, I've realized that, but it's helped me realize that, you know what, I want to tell you some of these stories. So let me turn the camera around and let's tell you a few stories here. Sorry, the sun was in my eyes, so it's better now that I've turned around. So those of you that watched our channel recently have met Candy here. And Candy is a 22-year-old Arabian mare, and you guys seem to really like her, and so do we. And someone on the channel said, hey, wait, I don't get it. You just said that you're looking for a home for this horse, and now you're saying you might want to keep her. Well, I've realized that's the story on several of our horses. Huh, Iho? You want to come get in on this story? Because we're not a rescue. We're not a family that's out there. We don't have a, what do you call it? Like a, I forget what they call it. We're not like tax exempt or whatever, and we're not out there asking for donations, and we don't claim to be a rescue. That's not what we are. We're a family that loves horses, and we love to help horses go to good homes. And that's why Iho here, he was about 2 years old and starved to death. He was malnourished, his hooves were growing wrong, and he just really needed some TLC. All of them look scraggly right now with their winter coats, and we need to get out and brush them and stuff. But anyway, he's put on so much weight, he's healthy, he's beautiful. And so even though we brought him home with the intent to get him healthy and find him a new home, he's been here for a year now, and I don't know, we may keep him, we may find him a new home, but at this point, he's here at the house and we're loving him. Candy, on the other hand, well, not on the other hand, same deal. She was owned by an amazing family, an amazing couple that's nearing retirement, and they've fed and cared for very well a lot of horses, and they love their horses. And Candy used to be shown, and yet just with time and financial restraints and energy, a lack of energy, they just hadn't done much with her for a long time. And so they approached us about, do you think you can find her a good home? Well, I brought her home, and if you watch the first video about Candy, I was like, you know what, we're looking for a new home for this horse. She hasn't been ridden in probably 10 to 15 years, but she used to be shown, and I was serious. We were looking for a good home. I just didn't realize that good home might be our home. We love Candy so much that we're like, you know what, maybe we'll keep her, or at least hold on to her and have a lot of fun with her and enjoy her for a while, and then maybe find her a new home later. But so that comment that someone was like, I don't get it, you said you're looking for a new home and now you're acting like you're going to keep her. Well, sometimes the good home we find for some of our horses is our home. And so I'm going to go tell you the story of two of our other horses and how they started out as horses that kind of were in need of rescue. We were helping find them a new home, and our home became their new home. So let's go check them out. Okay, here's the next horse that I want to tell her story. And a lot of you that watch our channel already know which horse this is. This is Duchess. And her story is fascinating to me. I have a friend that's retired, and he and his wife had moved into the White Mountains area of Arizona, and they bought their dream retirement home. Well, when they bought their retirement home, this horse was on the property. The people that sold the home said, you know what, this horse used to be a gymkhana horse for our kids, but it never gets used anymore, and would you want to buy the horse when you buy the property? And my friend and his wife said, yeah, I guess we'll do that. Well, they rode her a time or two, but they were, like say, had just retired, and my friend's health wasn't good. He had some heart problems, and so he called me one day and said, hey Alan, can you help find a home for Duchess? We have this horse that we feed that never gets ridden. And so I went and got Duchess. My intent was not to keep her. From what I heard, she was a horse that hadn't been ridden for a while, and I didn't know a whole lot about her. My friend didn't even know much about her other than the fact that he had ridden her a time or two. So I thought, well, sure, I'll bring her home. We'll try to help you find a good home. And I brought her home, and she was a dream to ride. And she has just been amazing. And so we're the good home that she found. Duchess is one that I foresee her staying on the property maybe forever. And she's the one I'm gonna take on the Pony Express ride. And she's one that Jocelyn likes to ride, Casey likes to ride. She is just amazing. And so grateful that Duchess needed a new home and that we've become that new home. Now, Prince Jack, he has a story too. Let me turn this around. Prince Jack's story is that he won't stay out of your way. He was a donkey that someone needed some money. They couldn't afford feeding him and asked me if I would take him. And so we brought him home. We had him castrated, and he's so gentle. Like I say, I have to back up just to be able to let you see him. But he's so gentle that we decided, you know what, let's see what he can do. And so we sent him to Moses at High Desert Homestead, a good friend of mine. Go check out his channel. We sent Prince Jack to Moses, and Moses got him pulling a cart. And anyway, guess what? I'm not gonna find a new home for him, at least not right now. This is his home. So another one that kind of started out as a project that I thought maybe I'd find a good home for, and we've decided to keep him. So let me go tell you the story about the last horse here that I want to tell you about today. And I think his story is pretty amazing. Well, the last horse that I want to tell you his story is this horse right here. And those of you that watch our channel know which horse this is, but you've never been told his story. This is Rawhide, and let me tell you how we got him and how he became one of our keepers. So Blake just got home, so I'll have him get in there with Rawhide, and we're gonna tell his story. So as you know, this is Rawhide, and Rawhide is a special horse. But this is how it happened. One day there was a guy that called me, and like I say, we're not an official rescue. That's not really, we do rescue horses, but we're not a horse rescue, if that makes sense. But because way before I ever started doing YouTube or Facebook stuff, we have always just enjoyed finding horses that we could improve by a little bit of training or getting them healthy and help them find better homes and make a little money along the way to support our habit. We like to try to make it, I shouldn't say make money, get enough money to pay for the feed anyway, because it's an expensive hobby. So anyway, but someone called and said, hey, I've got a horse for sale, will you buy it? I'm like, well, what is it? And he said, well, He's about 15, isn't that what he said? About 15?
He told us 12.
Oh, 12, yeah. He's 12 years old, and I'm like, is he trained? Yeah, we've chased wild horses on him. I'm like, okay, how much? And he quoted me a price, and I was like, you know what? I have too many horses, which is always the case. Just for
never too many.
Yeah, that's true. I love horses, and I'd keep as many as I could, but we can't afford too many, and so that's why I say we do have too many, because we can never afford it all. But anyway, so this guy said, well, and should I tell him how much he quoted and how much we got him for? Guess it doesn't matter, huh? So they said, well, we want $1,200 for him.
We want 15.
Oh, $1,500.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry, I've got too many horses, and the picture they sent me just didn't look great. And I'm like, you know, no, I can't do that. Well, how about 5, he said. I'm like, 500? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Anyway, so they brought Rawhide to the house, and I said, hey, I'd like, but I said, okay, I'll buy him, but I want you, when you come, to get on him, because I want to make sure, because some people tell you a horse is trained when really it's not. And so anyway, got to the house, and this was a guy in his 20s, probably, maybe 30s, and he had a bunch of friends with him, and I said, all right, we'll saddle him up and ride him. He got on him. Well, he's got him saddled, and then he went to get on him, and Rawhide was scared to death. I mean, you would have thought that a cougar was jumping on his back. Now, the guy got on him and rode him, but Rawhide acted like he was just scared to death. And I thought, well, okay, $500. Maybe Blake can help calm him down, and we can find him a good home and maybe make a little bit of money on him. Well, Blake got on him, and tell us about that first ride, Blake.
Well, the first ride, wait, which one was the first ride?
Well, remember, just like with the other guy, you tried to get on, and he moved all over. Yeah. He acted scared that you were getting on. And
yeah, I was just, the first ride wasn't like anything like crazy, so I don't exactly remember. But yeah, I do remember when.
Well, no, let me give you a hint though. After getting on, you ended up the end of the ride in the pond over there.
Yeah. Oh, that was my first. Yeah. And I remember, anyway, so I'll restart. So when I rode him for the first time, just like my dad said, he did not want me to get on him. As I was getting up here to the saddle horn and had the reins in my hands, he was just running in circles like this, just trying to stay away from me. But when I got on him, he did good. He was a little bit snorty and a little bit nervous around some things. But I started riding him, and I was really enjoying it. He was doing really good, not showing me any signs of bucking or any problems that I was really worried about. And so my dad was pulling out of the house, and I was walking across the street by the pond, and my dad's like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I'm gonna cross this ditch and see if I can get him crossing water. But I was like, all right, sweet. He's like, just remember, it's your first ride. You don't want to get bucked off first ride on him. And I said, oh, I think he'll do good. And by the time my dad had gotten back, I had taken video, and I was like, Dad, look at this. And I showed him, and I had rode Rawhide through the middle of the pond, and it was up to about here on him, and here, just up in here, and totally covered in water, and he was having a great time. And he would paw at it and splash in it, and it was so much fun. It was like just playing in the water. And ever since that day, he really has loved water. But ever since that day, I was like, dang, this is a cool horse. And experience after experience with him, I've grown to love this horse more and more, because like the day my dad actually got bucked off one time, and broke his scapula.
Not off of Rawhide.
Not off of Rawhide. But the day my dad did get bucked off, I was on Rawhide right there next to him. And the whole time Rawhide just held his composure.
Composure.
He held his composure. very well, and I was very impressed with that. And ever since that day and the day in the pond and just every experience I've had with him, I've really grown to love this horse a ton. And he's really become a great horse for me.
So we've now had him for a couple years. He's become Blake's horse. We realized right off the bat he was not 12 years old. He was probably 15. So I bet he's 17 now. And we realized, tell him about his left eye.
Oh, also, so you can see, like right here, sorry, he does not flinch at all. Seeing he's turning straight into my hand. He's actually blind in his left eye. So this right eye he can see just fine. Left eye, there's literally nothing here.
He blinks just to blink, but
he blinks,
but not because he sees something
accident.
coming.
Like when I touch his eyelashes, he'll blink because he feels something. But as far as if I were to get him to hold still, I could literally touch his eyeball.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do anything. This side, on the other hand, he'll definitely blink and stuff. And so he's got a good right eye, but his left eye's, I really think, totally blind. So, and he still does everything he needs to.
It's because he trusts you so much.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Like, I've talked to other people about it and stuff, and I've heard that some horses like that, horses that are blind in one eye or even have bad vision in both eyes or whatever, sometimes it creates a stronger bond between the horse and the rider, or the horse and the owner, just because that horse really does have to trust that the rider is going to put them in the right situation to protect them. Because I've even been riding him around, and if I ask him to turn left at the start, he wouldn't want to turn left. That was always his weaker side. He didn't want to turn that way. And that was before I realized he was blind. But when I would turn him left, he just really wouldn't want to, and then turning him right, he would go just fine. But it's because he could see where he was going with his right eye, but with his left eye, he couldn't see anything over here. So it made him a little bit nervous to turn left. But he's come out of that and done amazing now. And really, he's just an awesome horse.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed Rawhide's story, Duchess' story. I told you a little bit about Prince Jack, and then Candy, our Arabian. Yes, some horses we purchased or got with intent to find them new homes, and didn't realize at the time that the new home would become our home. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Rawhide is just a cool story because I purchased him. He was my horse, but Blake owned Lex, and I talked Blake into, I said, I'll tell you what, you love Rawhide and you two really connect. Why don't you trade me Lex for Rawhide? Because I like to raise babies and you like to do all kinds of crazy stuff that he can do with Rawhide, and it's been a good fit for both of us. But anyway, everybody, hope you've enjoyed. And like I said, every horse has a story. So go, if you can afford it, go get a horse with a story. And like I say, I love raising registered quarter horses, but some of our keepers, some of the ones we ride most and think are the coolest, are just horses that we picked up that had we not picked them up, they'd still be sitting in a corral. Or like Rawhide, I think he was being abused because he definitely was kind of afraid of people, wasn't he?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great day. God bless.